Religion, I guess I can't speak across like all religious theologies or practices, but in the Islamic context, that my understanding of faith um, empowers me, for instance, to know that trials and tribulations are only limited, right? That this world is not what I'm working for, and rather that I am made up of two different dimensions, right? I'm a physical being, right, in terms of this appearance that I have, but within me is something far greater. The I, the me, the you, are that which is spiritual, that which continues to live on.
It's brilliant, it is wise, it's so wise. I mean, having been through it 3 times, you sit in your home for 7 days and people come. You are not allowed to do anything. You are not allowed to lift a finger, anything. People bring food, and all they want to do is comfort you. You are just there to be comforted. People start talking, telling you the tales about the person who has just died, and which is what you want. People think sometimes, well, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the dead person in front of you. It'll bring it up, like it'll remind you, like you're ever forgetting. You're not going to forget this person. You want everybody to remember this person, and you want everybody to remember stories about them. There's nothing to do for those 7 days except remember and celebrate the person you loved. And I think it's brilliant.
One thing that really made me appreciate this aspect of our religion was when my father passed, right? There's this whole sort of tradition that you go through. And so the person passes, you're at the mosque for a few days, and then every day for like the first 7 days, your uncles and your aunts are coming over, and then people are coming to pay their respects to your house. The family's coming together the first week to your house. There's you're going to the mosque. People from the community are coming to pay their respects at the mosque. 40 days later, there's another sort of event that happens at the mosque, and people come to pay their respects again at the mosque. And then 1 year later, you have another event at the mosque. And this is all sort of religious tradition. And it never really clicked in my head what the intent of this whole thing until I went through that experience, and it was like, religion is instilling family, it's instilling connection, it's instilling community all over again through this experience of death. A person was lost, so we're going to bring everybody closer together again. This makes total sense. I appreciate this. I want to take part in this again and again because, one, a life is really valued, and two, relationships are really valued, and a community is really valued in turn as well. The entire community is going to heal together, and the entire community is going to support you. The family is going to come together to support you. We're going to see you a lot during the first week since the death. We're going to see you all day. We're going to be over. And then we're going to see you 40 days later. We're going to check in on you, and then we're going to see you 1 year again because this is something that you hold dear. So the whole community is going to hold dear as well. So it's extremely beneficial to your mental health because, I don't know, it really helps you make sense of it when it's like, death is not something that you can easily make sense of. The other thing that comes to mind is that practicing Ramadan altogether, right, there's this whole intent behind fasting and the whole intent behind not eating the whole day, so really trying to understand what less fortunate have to go through as well. But then the piece that never really gets thought about is like, we fast for 30 days. I see all my siblings probably every day those 30 days. We come together, we fast all day, we suffer, if you want to put it in those words, and then we're all getting together to have this awesome meal at night, and we're all like so grumpy all day, but then it comes time to eat, and everybody's so happy, and we're celebrating over this meal, and we get to do this for 30 days.
I think everybody's searching for God, and for a sense of peace in their life. I think communal prayer and yeah, I guess we're searching for the divine. No, but I do feel like church is a sort of a place where we learn how to deal with our emotions. And I guess one of the great things about being part of a community or a church is that you have to stick with it, and you realize that there's going to be problems, and it's in places like this where you deal with the social problems. I'm fascinated with the way this church is evolving, the church at large. Yeah, so I'm very content right now in this space. It feels right, you know.
I think that there are some embedded themes or qualities that every human being desires to attain. Every human being loves justice. Every human being loves mercy. Every human being loves compassion, loves beauty, loves love, right? Loves patience. Certain qualities that outweigh any sort of theological background or any sort of theological doctrine, um, that every single person who's a believer in God or who states that they don't believe in a God, theist, monotheist, polytheist, they all ascertain that these are qualities that they need to have.
I've had times when I was very much into yoga and very much into Buddhism, and it strengthened my Christianity, really, not because of an oppositional thing, but because it explained. I think a lot of Buddhist things, it teaches you how to be kind, it teaches you how to relax, it teaches you, it's like basics. How do you become a kind, giving, how do you do it? And meditation and all of these things that really they help. And I mean, for me, it strengthened my being a Christian. It helped me figure out how to do a lot of these things. There's been times in my life when I've thought about being something else, but I was raised Christian, and it's all so important to me. It's embedded in me, and that's I've discovered that that's the faith I need to follow. But I would never judge anybody else, because we all have our own stories.
It's not that the religion brings people together. People having those shared values and sharing those values is what brings people together. We're very family oriented, and our religion really places it places emphasis on family. It places emphasis on parents. It places emphasis on celebrating and appreciating your siblings and your relatives, and that's something instilled in us through the religion, but that's a value that we really have carried on ourselves. And if somebody else has that particular value and shares that same value, then that's what's bringing us together. The reality is that religion is nothing in thin air. It's everything else that brings people together.
I didn't like taking government money because the government's values and priorities change. You get a new government in, and you've been going along with this wonderful program that they've loved, and then all of a sudden a new administration comes in, they have different priorities, and what do you do with your program? It's very hard when you put your heart and soul into something that you think is important, and you have people who depend on you through that program. And then all of a sudden somebody says, nah, that's not a priority anymore, we're going to do something else. It's very, at best, disheartening. The city as it stands now, we share values. How are we going to integrate with the federal government at the moment? It's going to be hard. We don't share values.
I think it's just frustrating. I mean, with my work with the choir, I'm not allowed to go into the public schools to audition children, which is very frustrating, because and it's even more frustrating because a lot of these schools don't even have music, and here we're offering something wonderful, and I can't go in and audition kids and offer them this. I am allowed to go into the Catholic schools. It's kind of sad because we're offering something wonderful that would help children, and we're not allowed to do that.
So I have an opportunity to do interfaith work, And honestly, like every time, like an example of, every time I have an opportunity to share an example to sort of like humanize who I am or humanize this religion of ours, I take that opportunity to do it, because it's like, you know, here's 35 people who are listening to me, and I'm going to share this experience that's superhuman that they're going to connect with, and they're going to understand, or hopefully have this little different impression about who we are as people and as a religion.
These community centers are critical. They truly are a center of the community. Just being a presence and having space, because there are all these organizations that or people who want to meet and discuss things, and there's no place to do it. So just being that physical presence in the community is so important, and having a space for people to talk to each other or plan with each other or vent with each other and think and talk and read, you know, and commune.
The number of people that we see who come and visit our community and our center come from all different sorts of diverse backgrounds. They come from different cultures. They speak different languages. Some are Muslim, some are non-Muslims. We have a large non-Muslim population who, you know, might sit in to, you know, attend one of our programs, our talks, just out of their sheer interest about what we do, or because they're interested in Islam, or because they're just interested, you know, because they just want to see what's happening. It gives us a unique opportunity to engage all sorts of different people, without passing any sort of judgments. You know, I think that something that's often forgotten from people of religion or people who come from any sort of religious background is that, you know, religion was not so that those who are religious or religious leaders could pass judgments on people who they deemed were not religious, right? Whatever those terms mean, and to be inviting of everyone and to be accommodating of anyone and everyone who desires to learn, you know. You know, when we talk about religious inclusiveness, that's what needs to be partaken in faith communities all across the world. If we passed less judgment, more people wouldn't be hating religion as much as they do. How many people leave religion because, you know, someone said that they're not religious, or that they don't practice the right way, or they don't do this the right way, or they don't do that the right way, without understanding that people are like on a very different spiritual path